السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. I'll continue tonight, inshallah ta'ala, talking about Amir al-Mu'mineen, Umar ibn Khataab radiyallahu anhu. And tonight I'd like to talk about two subjects. The first subject, briefly, about the knowledge of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu and how he was so trusted in knowledge and protecting it during his life. Then after that I'll talk about the ruling system, the judgment system in the time of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. If you remember, brothers and sisters, in the time Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu was one of those who all the time seeking knowledge. And for that, he used to arrange with one of his neighbors that one day Umar ibn Khattab will go to stay with the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, listen what he's saying, learn from him. And the other day, that neighbor will go, so when he come back, he will inform Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, and also the same Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, he will inform that brother. So this close relation with the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam enabled Umar radiallahu anhu to have a lot of knowledge during the life of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And if you can remember that in a few occasions the Quran revealed to confirm what Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu was asking, like in what it to do with alcohol and to make alcohol forbidden totally, and about hijab for the wives of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Now, when he became Khalifa, obviously he understands that one of his duties to secure the knowledge and support all those Sahaba radiallahu anhum who has the knowledge, and in the same time he will be sure that the knowledge which will spread during his time and deliver by other Sahaba radiallahu alayhim is accurate knowledge. And one of the measures that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu took, that he will not accept any narration unless the person will bring two witnesses. So one of the examples, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anhu, he came to see Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. He'd like to ask him about something. So he knocked once, no answer. Twice, no answer. Thrice, no answer. And he left. So it seems that some of Umar Khattab family, they noticed that. And Umar was a little bit busy at that time. So when he finished what he was doing, he said, oh, and they told him, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari came to see you, but he didn't reply. He said, where is he? He said, he left. So he went until he came to a group of Al-Ansar sitting together. And he said, Abu Musa, why you didn't wait? He said, I heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, al-istidhanu thalathan. Asking permission is 3 times. So you knock for the first time and wait. Then knock the second time and wait. Knock the third time and wait. If there is no answer, then you go. And even in the Quran, even after the third time or the first time, if the person said to you, I am busy, I cannot meet you today, go back without feeling anything in your heart. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Surah An-Nur, فَإِذَا قِيلَ لَكُمْ ارْجِعُوا فَارْجِعُوا. If the person you'd like to visit, he will say to you, please go back, and don't find any harm in your heart. Don't have bad feelings towards that person. So Umar, he asked Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, why you didn't wait? He said, this is the hadith. He said to him, I cannot accept this unless you bring me a witness that he heard this from the Prophet ﷺ, because I didn't hear it. So Ubay ibn Ka'b radiallahu anhu, he said, I will ask the youngest among us to answer you, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, he said, I heard it from the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Then Umar, he said, okay, if this is the case, okay. So this tells us that Umar radiallahu anhu, he has good knowledge. But if someone says something that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and he has no knowledge about it, he will not approve it unless he will have two people accept that. This means that Umar Khataab radiallahu anhu was a person who would like to build the knowledge of this deen on very firm basis. Because if you leave it, everyone will say what he likes, and people might be, bad memory, or people misunderstand, maybe people didn't listen carefully, and after that you build rules and talk about hellfire and Jannah and haram and halal without a valid evidence, it will be difficult. Another example, with Umar ibn Yasir radiallahu anhu. Umar radiallahu anhu was the opinion, if you have janaba, especially if you are traveling and you have a wet dream, then there is no water to wash, to have ghusl. Umar's opinion was, in this case, you wait until you find the water. So Umar ibn Yasir, he said to him, but this is not true. He said to him, no, this is what I know. He said to him, Umar, can you remember when we were together and both of us have wet dream, and myself, I made tayammum, and you waited until you found the water. So when we came to the Prophet ﷺ, he said, what Ammar did is right. He said, I cannot remember. He said, Ammar said, are you saying to me, don't talk about this hadith? He said, no, I cannot stop you from narrating a hadith you are sure about it. But I cannot remember myself, and narrate it and talk to people about it. And this is now the ruling. So the ruling is, if you have janaba and you like to make ghusl, there is no water, then you make tayammum and pray. Don't make anything stops you from praying. Here we see that Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu was so humble to say that I don't know. Because at that time, he's Amir al-Mu'mineen, he's the ruler, he can say, what you are talking about? What I'm saying should be followed. I don't want to listen to anyone else. No. Someone else other than Umar Khattab will do something like this. But not Umar. And during his time, Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu, he all the time used to encourage the Sahaba radiyallahu alayhim to seek knowledge, and he will attain go to the circles, talk to them. Many of the hadiths we have, it's narrated by him, and he used to narrate these on the minbar. I think most of Muslims now, they are saying hadith al-istiftah, istiftah as-salah, what you say at opening the salah, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, wa tabarak ismuk ta'ala jadduk wa la ilaha ghayr. Who narrated this? Umar Khattab radiallahu anhu. Where Umar Khattab narrated that? On the minbar. So he was on the minbar and he said, the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught us that when you start your salah, then say Subhanakallah wa hamdik tabarak ismuka ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruk. Also, he taught Muslims about sujood tilawa, again on the member. So Umar Khataab radiallahu anhu, he read ayah of Surah Al-Nahl when there is sajda. So when he read the ayah, he came down, made sujood, and the people made sujood with him. Then in the next week, he was delivering the khutbah, and he read the same ayah. So when he read the same ayah, all the people were ready to make the sujood. He said, no, don't do it. Because it is optional, it is not fard. And I did that deliberately to teach you that sujood al-tilawa is not obligatory. It is optional. Obviously, it is better to do it because you are responding to the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ordering you to make sujood. You are making the sujood. The famous hadith, which is the first hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, about Islam, Iman, Ihsan, narrated by whom? By Umar Khataab radiallahu anhu. بينما كنا جلوس عند النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا كان رجل شديد بياض الثياب لا يرى عليه أثر السفر فجلس بين يدي النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ووضع يديه ركبتيه إحدى ركبتيه. So he talked about the whole hadith that we were sitting around the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم when a man came and he has very black hair, very white thobes. You cannot see the symptoms of that he was traveling, and he sat in front of the Prophet ﷺ and he put his knees next to the knees of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he put his hands on his thighs, that person. Then he asked Nabi ﷺ, أخبرني عن الإسلام. Tell me what, أخبرني عن الإيمان. So tell me about the Iman. He said, to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His angels, His prophets, His angels, His books, His prophets, in the day of judgment, and in Al-Qadr. He said to him, صدقت, you are telling the truth. So the Sahaba, they said, فعجبنا له يسأله ويصدقه. We were amazed how he asked him, and then he said, you are telling the truth. Then he said, أخبرني عن الإسلام. Tell me about Islam. He said, شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وحج البيت. So you say the shahada, you perform the salah, you pay the zakah, and you fast the month of Ramadan, and also you go to Hajj when you can afford it. Then he said, أخبرني عن الإحسان. Tell me about الإحسان, the highest level. He said, أن تعبد الله كأنك تراه فإن لم تكن تراه فإنه يراك. To worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as you see Him. If you cannot see Him, He is watching over you. So he said صدق again. Then he said to him, أخبرني عن الساعة. Tell me about the day of judgment. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, ما المسؤول عنها بأعلم من السائل. The one who being questioned does not know more than the one who is asking. He said to him, فأخبرني عن أماراتها. Tell me about the signs. He said, أن تلد المرأة ربتها وأن ترى الحفاة العراة العالة الرعاة الشاء يتطاولون في البنيان. So when the woman, the slave woman, give birth to her master, and when you see those people who are very poor, barefoot, shepherds, they are making buildings so high. So, in Nabi sallallahu, then Jibreel alayhi salam, he left. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, after he left, he asked them, do you know who's this? They said, Allah wa Rasuluhu alam. Allah and His Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam knows the best. He said, هذا جبريل جاءكم يعلمكم دينكم. This is Jibreel, came to you to teach you your deen. So, here, as I said, one of the greatest, the most important hadiths, which is, I can say, compulsory on every Muslim to know, to learn this hadith. And again, as I mentioned, it is the first hadith in Bukhari. So when you open Sahih Bukhari, this is the first, one of the first hadith. And other hadith, إنما الأعمال بالنيات. That الأعمال or the deeds are according to intention. فمن كان وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. And for everyone what he intended. فمن كانت هجرته لله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله. The one who make hijrah, migration for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his prophet, then his hijrah will be accepted because he has right intention. ومن كانت هجرته لامرأة لدنيا يصيبها أو امرأة ينكحها فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه. But if someone made hijrah seeking some of these life materials, or he made hijrah because he is after a woman to marry her, then his hijrah will be for that purpose. Again, brothers and sisters, this is one of the greatest hadith, and you'll find it, as Imam Nawawi said, this is one of the pillars of knowledge, that every Muslim should know this hadith. Why should every Muslim should know this hadith? Because you have all the time to have right intention, and you do the things according to right intention, because if your intention is not right, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not accept your deeds. So this is just examples how Umar Khataab radiallahu anhu, he was a scholar himself. He used to teach people in the minbar. He narrated many of the hadiths of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, and he has also, regarding, he has a lot of ijtihad. What ijtihad? That there is matters, he said his opinion about it according to his understanding from Quran and Sunnah. And there is few examples of this in the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. In one occasion, there was a year there was famine. So drought, everyone is suffering. And because of this situation, there was many people committing theft. And Umar radiallahu anhu understood that this theft is not a crime because the person didn't do it because he'd like to commit a crime. He did it because there is no food. No food, no money, and he's going to die. So what he thought, found something around him, easy to steal, then he took it. Now, Islamically, the one who steals that, you have to punish him. But Umar, because he understood the circumstances which was available at that time, he stopped applying that punishment. At that time. And this is something misunderstood by some people. They say, oh, how Umar will stop a punishment which is clearly mentioned in the Quran, in Surah Al-Ma'idah. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam spoke about it. How Umar will stop what we call it had? And the answer is, Umar stopped the had at a certain time because of certain circumstances. He didn't say, no, cross it, finished. No. He applied that in a certain time because of certain circumstances. When these circumstances is not there, then it will not apply. And regarding this matter, he was going to appoint a governor. And he said to him, if they brought to you a person who committed theft, what will you do? He said, I will cut his hand. Umar radiallahu anhu said to him, if you cut his hand, I will cut your hand. These hands created to work, not to be cut. Firstly, feed the people until they have what they need. Then after that, if they commit theft, then cut their hands. This is the understanding. Umar radiallahu anhu understood that punishment in Islam is not punishment because Allah likes to punish people. This is never exist in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers and sisters, Rahman Rahim. Allah didn't send Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to punish the people, to kill the people, to cut their hands, to stone them. This is not the idea of punishment. The idea of all the punishments in Islam is to prevent crime. So when there is a punishment, then we make these criminals fear the punishment, and this will stop them from committing these crimes. On top of that, Islam, he established solutions to all the matters that might put the people or make the people commit these crimes. So, when you talk about stoning to death, if a person commits zina. Now, Islam sorted this problem. Why a person might commit zina? Because he's not married, or he likes women so much. So if he's not married, then there's a solution that the government must help people who would like to get married. And in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, even the slaves who would like to get married, help them to get married, even the slaves. And also, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that there is type of people Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala committed to help them. And one of them, the one who would like to get married to secure himself, to immune himself. So this means that Allah will help you, the government will help you, and the whole society will help you. On top of that, also Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that أَقَلُّ كُنَّا مُهُورًا أَكْثَرُ كُنَّا بَرَكَةً. When the mahar, the dowry is less, then the barakah is more. To make the people, to make the parents, when they ask for the dowry, don't make the people run away. You'd like to get married? 10,000 pounds. Okay. Why shall I pay 10,000 pounds? So let me just enjoy myself. I don't have the money. No, Islamically this is not right. And for those who's married, but they think they like to have more than one, so Islam said, okay, you can have second wife. Or if the first one, there is problem with her, then you can have a second wife, or a third wife, or even a fourth wife. Then after fourth wife, if you have the option to have four wives, and after that, after all these options, you go to commit zina, there's problem with you. There's a problem with you. Then there's no need for you to stay in this society, because you will be just a source of corruption. And obviously, when a person commits zina, he will commit zina with a lady. So he ruined himself and ruined another lady. And that lady is a part of the family. So he ruined the family. So Islam said, the person that he has all the options to get married once, twice, all of these, he has a wife to enjoy his time with her, and after that, ignore all of this and run after the haram and destroy the life of another girl and her family, there's no need for him in this society. Finish him. Because by finishing him, you finish this crime, you finish this problem. This is the philosophy of these punishments in Islam. It is not something that, like a judge sitting there and just waiting. Committed zina, stone him. Committed theft, cut his hand. No, it's not like this. And even you'll find, in the time of Umar, radiallahu anhu, some of the regarding zina, he discussed it with Ali radiallahu anhu. And one of them, they brought a woman and they said she committed zina. So they said, okay, commit zina, there are witnesses, she admitted. And Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, no. How many months? They said, I think 3-4 months. And then he calculated it, because the husband, in that case, he said, because after he married her, I think after 6 months, she gave birth, and he said, I married you only for 6 months, how you get? He said, the Quran saying that الوالدات يرضعن أولادهن حولين كاملين, that the woman will breastfeed 24 months, 2 years. And another ayah, he said, وحمله وفصاله 30 شهرا. The pregnancy and to stop feeding 30 months. 30 minus 24, then 6. So this means that she didn't commit zina. So he found a solution. What this means? This means these Umara al-Mu'mineen, these Khalifa, was understanding the spirit, the idea behind the punishment, not the punishment in itself. This is something people, Muslims and non-Muslims, they don't understand the wisdom, the philosophy behind all these legislations, brothers and sisters. And they think that Islam is a horrific religion. Only talks about killing. No, this is not the fact. The fact is, these punishments established to protect the society. And you find here, in these countries now, you'll find they are putting very high punishment for whom? For those who committed rape. Why they do this? Because when they give life sentence for the one who commit rape, for example, this will make the others who try to do it scared. If I'm being caught, this will happen to me. And other things. Like they put high penalties on certain things. Why? Because they like to prevent the people from doing it. It's not collecting money. Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, as I mentioned, he used his knowledge to find solutions for the problems which happened during his time. And he took a lot of decisions, which was very brave decisions, but it came from a person who understands the wisdom of this deen. Regarding the judgment or the judges and all of these things, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, in his time, I can say the country expanded. So in the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as you know, it was in Medina, Mecca, and all the areas around it. Then in Abu Bakr time, started to go to Syria and part of Iraq. But in the time of Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, there is more now. Hijaz, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, Egypt, North Africa. And Umar radiallahu anhu, he sent governors, what they call them al-wula. Now, at the beginning, the wali, he will be the one who is responsible for everything. So he will be the one who governs that area, and he will be the judge of between people. But Umar noticed, radiallahu anhu, that these rulers cannot do all the jobs. You cannot be imam in the salah and dealing with the daily matters, and at the same time the people will come to them with their problems, and he has to give to deal with that, give verdicts. So he was the one who established the court system. And he said that the wali will be wali, governor, ruler. And the qadi will be qadi. And the wali, he has nothing to do with the judge, and the judge, he has nothing to do with the wali. Which is now, بالعربي they call it استقلال القضاء. And here they talk about it that the court system, that the political people, the people in power, prime minister or MPs or these things, they have nothing to do with court system. And this is why you will find sometimes, in some cases, maybe the judges take decisions against the government. This is now. And this started only now about 200 years after the French Revolution. But before that, the king, he was everything. He was the ruler, he was the judge, he was the one who's about money, about political, about everything. He is the big boss, and every single person in his country will listen to him in all the matters. And even if the judge, he doesn't like the judge, he just sack him and that's it. And if he doesn't like his verdict, he will say to him, go home, I don't want you anymore. Umar radiallahu anh, he established that. He established that the judge is the judge and the politician is a politician. So al-wali will do his duties and al-qadi, he will do his duties. And he sent certain Sahaba, I'll just mention some names. So he mentioned, he sent Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, one of the great Sahaba, to Al-Kufa. And Salman bin Rabi'a, and he was in Al-Basra and Al-Qadisiyya. Qais ibn Abi al-As al-Qurashi, he was in Egypt. Some of the Sahaba, he gave them both, then he divided that. One of them, Nafi' al-Khuza'i, Ya'la ibn Umayyah, Sufyan ibn Abdullah al-Thaqafi, Al-Mughira ibn Shu'bah, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, he was in Syria, Uthman ibn Abi al-As, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Umayr ibn Sa'ad in Hims. And one of the most important letters to the judges was sent by Umar Khataab radiallahu anhu to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. So I read it to you, brothers, and there is, according to my knowledge, there is many books spoke about this letter. And even Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi, in his great book I'lam al-Muwaqqi'in an Rabb al-Alamin, he took a big part of his book to talk about the rules of ruling of the judge and how to establish this court system. So he said to him, in the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, from the slave of Allah, the son of Al-Khattab, Amir al-Mu'mineen, to Abdullah ibn Qais, peace be upon him. So this is the name of Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, Abdullah ibn Qais. Judging is a confirmed obligation and a way to be followed. Try to understand when cases are presented to you, for it is no use in a person presenting his case if it is most understood. So the first thing that he said to the judge, you must understand the case. Because sometimes the problem that the person cannot present his case. Another one maybe will be very, very good in presenting, in talking. Then you think that he's right, but actually he's not. So he said the first thing is to understand. For there is no use in a person presenting his case if it is not understood. If you cannot understand it, there's no need to go to the qadi at all. Treat people equally when you address them, so that no nobleman will hope that you will side with him unfairly. Allahu Akbar. Look, this is equality. Now they talk human rights and these things. This is equality. When you deal with the people, obviously sometimes there will be a noble person and a poor person. But don't make this a reason to judge for the one who has a big family big wealth. So he said, treat people equally when you address them, so that no noble man will hope that you will side with him unfairly, and no weak man will despair of your justice. So everyone will believe that there is justice. The noble, he will understand this. And the poor person will not say, oh, yeah, what's the point of going to the court? I know that I cannot win. Doesn't matter what is my situation. The burden of proof rests with the plaintiff, and the oath is required of one who denies it. So this is a rule in Islam. They say البينة على من ادعى والدليل على من أنكر. So if you go to the court, so you have to give your proof. Now the other side, if it is person to person, this. If the other side, he doesn't have a proof, then he has to make oath. The burden of proof rests with the plaintiff, and the oath is required of the one who denies it. It is permissible to make a deal between Muslims, except a deal that permits something that is forbidden or forbids something that is permitted. What Umar is saying here, if there is two people coming and they have a dispute, if you can sort it between them without judgment, and now brothers and sisters in the courts, they are saying to the people before they put their cases, did you try to sort it outside the court? And even the solicitors and barristers and all of these things, they try to sort it before take it to the judge. And this is a question in many cases now, have you tried or not? Because if you didn't try, you say, try to sort it. This will save the country money and save the judges time and your money in the same time. Umar radiallahu anh established this. And as far as I know in this is all in this country to make it by law that you have to seek. There is certain words for it, I cannot remember it now. Seek this before you come to the court. It is by law now. You have to do it before you come to the court. Umar ibn Khattab 1400 years ago said that if you can sort it before you make the judgment, sort it, unless this is against Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So if you passed a judgment yesterday, then examine it further in your mind and are guided to a different conclusion, then that should not prevent you from returning to the truth, for truth is eternal. Look, brothers. If the judge, according to what he has, on Saturday, he made a judgment, a ruling against someone. But next day, or after a week, he thought about it more, or a new evidence came. This will not prevent you from going back and correct and say, I am wrong. Now we find this here in this country. They are talking about the same thing. They are in the news that there are some cases 50 years ago, 40 years ago happened, and now there is appeal and they are opening these cases again. Now you see, Umar Khattab radiallahu anh, in that letter, he established the system. So if you pass the judgment yesterday, then examine it further in your mind and are guided to a different conclusion, then that should not prevent you from returning to the truth, for the truth is eternal. And returning to the truth is better than persisting in falsehood. Because obviously, if you know that your judgment was wrong and you say, okay, it doesn't matter, that's finished now, that you are applying falsehood now. Examine carefully each issue which you are unsure about, where there is no text in the Quran and Sunnah, and try to find a similar case. So when there is something you don't have knowledge, there is no proof of the Quran and the Sunnah, examine it and try your best to understand it. And then you can do your ruling accordingly. And try to find a similar case, draw analogies and see which is more likely to be pleasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and closest to the truth. Because, and here he's saying that your last verdict doesn't mean that this is the absolute truth. If there is no proof in the Quran and the Sunnah for what you are going to say. And this makes every judge believes 100% that his ruling is not what 100%. Because the problem will be if the judge start to think that what he thought, what he decided is the absolute truth. There's a problem in itself. Because no one can claim that. Doesn't matter what his experience and what his knowledge. All the time you have to think as a person who is making judgment against the people or for the people in some cases, you have to say, this is what I believe, this is my understanding, this is my knowledge led me to take this decision. So you have to understand this. Set a time limit for him to produce his evidence. So give the people time to produce the evidence. So maybe he cannot bring the evidence on the same day. And if he cannot bring the evidence in the same day, say to him, sorry, I cannot help you. No, give the person time. Set a time limit for him to produce his evidence. If he produces evidence, then restore his rights to him. Otherwise, ask him to drop his claim. So, if the person brought evidence, then there's two options. Either to go back to the case, or ask him, if he doesn't want now to pursue it, then he can drop the claim. That's better, so as to eliminate any doubt. So when you do this, there is no one will question your credit or credibility. The Muslims are basically of good character except one who has been lashed as a had punishment or who is known for bearing false witness. There is in the law these days they say بالعربي they say المتهم بريء حتى تثبت إدانته, that we consider all the people they are fine unless they have in their life there is something they committed a crime, there is court against them. So he's saying Muslims, all of them you should consider them that they are good unless that person was lashed in a had, he was punished, or he made false witness. So if a person make false witness, you cannot accept his witness at all. And this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala established it in Surah An-Nur. Allah is in charge of what is hidden in people's hearts. Judgment must be based on evidence and oaths. So it's not your duty to find what's in the hearts of the people. He might so and so. No. Give the evidence, make oath. This is how you deal with the matter. Beware of becoming impatient, because judging is in accordance with truth brings a great reward from Allah and stores up a great deal of reward in the hereafter. Obviously, sometimes maybe the case takes time and you listen to this one, then the other one, witnesses, and maybe the matter in itself doesn't worth all this hassle. So you think, why you are doing all of these things? Finish it. No, you have to be patient, because you must establish the true judgment and make the people feel that they have their rights. Whoever has a good intention and checks himself, Allah will be sufficient for him, and he need not worry about people. But whoever shows an attitude to people which Allah knows is not his true attitude, Allah will expose him. So here Umar ibn Khataab radiallahu anhu shows that these matters, leave it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows the right people and Allah knows those who have doubts and problems. Don't worry about these people, because if they are good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them their rights. If they are bad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose them. And from my experience in life, brothers and sisters, I've seen this. You'll find people, they're doing a lot of things and they think they are very clever. Then subhanallah, they do one thing and will expose everything. So the people will know them. You cannot hide yourself for so long. One day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will expose you. So all the time, have the right intention and the right attitude all the time. This is the letter of from Umar Khattab radiallahu anh to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiallahu anh. And as I said to you, brothers and sisters, you'll find in the Sharia, and those who are studying Sharia and law and all these things, they must memorize this letter, because it establishes the framework, the lines for the judge, how to understand and how to rule. And as I said to you, there's many books. I explained it in maybe 15 minutes, but there is books, which is hundreds of pages, talking about the details and how the judges after Umar Khattab radiallahu anh took this letter as a guidance in their judgments. رضي الله عن عمر ورضي الله عن الصحابة أجمعين وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.